Just because we live in easier times, does that mean that we live in better times? Well, the answer might surprisingly be no. In the 1960s and 70s, Dr. John Calhoun set up an experiment called Universe 25, or otherwise known as the infamous Rat Paradise experiment. He wanted to test out a theory he had thought of for a while. In 1968, Calhoun had started the experiment by introducing 4 mouse couples into a specifically designed pen. It was sort of like a heaven, like a Garden of Eden, where there were no natural enemies or predators, and there was an abundant amount of supplies, including food, water, and shelter. He essentially put a bunch of rats in a utopia, a place where they didn't have to fight for anything. They could just easily get what they wanted. A place where they could get food, water, and shelter at the click of a button. It was truly a magnificent place. Now, at first, things were completely fine. Mice were breeding in extreme amounts, and honestly speaking, everything was just going well. Like, there was no issues. The rats were getting along. But then, after, a while, and after the pen became overpopulated, it essentially reached a peak. A point in which the mouse population wasn't growing. It was slowly but surely coming down. Now, at first it wasn't too bad, but eventually speaking, the utopia became hellish. The utopia became hellish nearly a year in, when the population density began to peak. And then population growth abruptly and dramatically slowed. The mice became increasingly violent, developed abnormal sexual behaviors, and began neglecting or even attacking their own pups. After a while, the mice, they started to become a little crazy. The male mice became lazy and feminine, while the female ones became aggressive and hostile. The males at the bottom of the social hierarchy, aka the, betas, became disconnected from social life. They became completely antisocial and refrained from breeding or interacting with women. The alphas became aggressive, especially towards women. They started going around essentially raping all of them. And it wasn't just that. Stuff like cannibalism or mutilation towards friends and family also started to happen. Eventually, Universe 25 took another disturbing turn. Mice born into the chaos couldn't form normal social bonds or engage in complex social behaviors, such as courtship, mating, and pup rearing. Instead of interacting with their peers, males compulsively groomed themselves. Females stopped getting pregnant. They essentially became trapped in an infantile state of early development, even when removed from Universe 25 and introduced to normal mice. Ultimately speaking, the mice colony died out. It got so bad to a point where the newer generations didn't want to breed or didn't even know what it was. By spring of 1973, the last mouse died. This is a study on overpopulation and cramming, and how having too many people in one spot can lead to a society's decline. However, I argue that the main issue here wasn't overpopulation, but the fact that you no longer had to die for food, or for water, or for shelter. It was all just easily given to the mice. The mice essentially became lazy, as they steered away from their biological intuitions. Now, a lot of people bring parallels with this experiment into real life, talking about how technology has steered us on a path that goes against our biology. And some people would say yeah, but other people would also argue no, because this place wasn't a utopia. But here's the thing, neither is modern life. We have everything fed to us on a silver spoon, but everything just feels so artificial. Even like interacting with people on the internet doesn't feel the same anymore as it used to. This ties into the dead internet theory, which I also covered on, but still. So maybe this is the case, and maybe this is what's going to happen in real life. Maybe stuff like cannibalism or rape or murder will become present in society. There is one difference though, a major one at that. We are at that point in life where the only thing that can save us is the very thing that keeps us down. Technology. With the rise of AIs, eventually we will become transhumans. And as crazy as this might sound, biological desires such as food, water, shelter, and even sex might cease to exist. As crazy as that might sound, it might be inevitable. We might be heading into the scariest and most biologically challenging times in human history, where our biological systems might be completely changed through mechanical engineering. It might even be that the AIs of the future are doing their best to make sure that everything in the past leads to their existence, to their ultimate level of understanding and knowledge that goes beyond the human biology. But is that really what we want? Think about it. When you were young, the dream was to live on a beach with your wife and kids, not needing to worry about the stress of life or anything. To be retired, to drive fancy cars, and fly across the world. And while not everybody can afford that, it now seems like that dream is becoming more and more unrealistic. It seems like that dream is gone. It seems like the dream of becoming rich and living a happy life with your family is dissipating. It's gone. It's disappearing. And there's a reason. You see, the government likes to push these anti-natalist ideas to bring forth the tech revolution. It means that the only savior for the human race will be AI. But governments will probably manipulate AI in a way that the only way you can live is to sell your soul to the corporate rules of the rich, of the elites. The moral compass of humans will definitely break during this time. We build social and economical structures to prevent our natural desires from coming over us. When these structures collapse, our true biology comes out. It's as if we revert to caveman times again, like during World War II, for example, where stuff like rape, murder, and cannibalism was common. So yeah, I think it's good that people honestly arm themselves, or, learn stuff like martial arts, and, prepare themselves mentally, because you never know what's ahead of you. We might be living in a time period similar to that of the collapse of the Roman Empire. Slightly better because at least we can watch Adam Sandler movies.